All right, welcome everybody to the comic panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
And today we are talking about Prodigy by Mark Millar and Raphael Albuquerque, or art by Raphael Albuquerque, letters by Peter Doherty, colors by Marcelo Miolo, and edited by Rachel Fulton, and published by Image Comics. All right, so getting into it, Shawenta, you picked this book.
Yeah, my friend was inundating me with insane panels from it, and I was just sort of like, it's just another bad comic. But at some point, I don't know. We'll get to the shark point. I think it was just the shark scene, really. And I thought this was over several volumes, everything that happens in this singular book so far. It is now a series. They're coming back with it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But at the moment, it's a standalone, technically.
Right.
So, yeah, that shark scene. Once I got that shark scene, I was like, I have to see what leads to shooting sharks underwater.
Those poor,
and it turns out
sharks.
Not a whole lot, but
everything.
I mean, they say it like it's a lot, but I don't know. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So, basically, what this book is, it follows Edison Crane, and he is the world's smartest man, most talented at everything he tries.
Being smart means you can get good at everything.
Yes. Kind of like Taskmaster, I guess, from like Marvel Comics. You know, just has to see things done, it seems like, and he can do them.
See, but at least Taskmaster's just limited to being good at fighting. He doesn't become like a mathematician just because he saw somebody do math one time.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, okay, so one of the first things that happens is, we will never forget that main character's name, right? Edison Crane.
Yeah.
So it's Edison from Edison, and then the crane is from Ichabod Crane?
Cool name.
Yeah. I don't know where the crane comes from or if it comes from anything.
Elegance. I don't know. It's going to be Edison Wolf.
I thought you meant like the construction equipment crane. I'm like, are those necessarily very elegant?
There's someone out there who loves them, I'm sure. Yeah, so Edison Crane wins sports game.
It's polo, the rich man sport.
Of course it's polo. Don't know why I assumed rugby. He's like an 11-year-old among like high schoolers. He would not be winning rugby.
Like, even if he could win, it's like, sure, let's say he'll win. What kind of like governing body of any kind of sport would allow an 11-year-old to compete with like late teenagers? Like,
it's just so smart he convinces them, right?
What kind of Air Bud universe are we living in?
The same one where he can like jump a car off of a building and then crash into the window of the building while they're shooting at him just for fun. Like,
I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, that's not how that works while I read this comic.
So he wins the, I forgot the name of it, polo game, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. He wins the polo game against a bunch of high schoolers. His team is not happy that he won and probably made all the winning points or something. We don't get to see. His team beats him up. Not even his team, I guess. A select few. One of the guys being named Tinker or whatever. Bunch of rich kids beats him up, so he decides to watch kung fu movies and learn all their moves before Monday so that he can come and beat them up in turn.
Which is probably the first time I said, that's not how that works.
This is the Matrix. Yeah, he beats them up.
They should have beat him up. He needs to learn, like, some level of humbleness.
But they deserved it. They always deserve it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Not condoning bullying.
if you put an 11-year-old and a 17-year-old in a boxing ring, who should you ethically allow to win? So the thing is, Edison is like, I know I'm going to be expelled for this, but I'm going to do it anyway to teach you a valuable life lesson. What was the life lesson? Violence begets violence?
Don't beat up people who are better than you.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, I think that's actually supposed to be.
Yeah, so he beats them up. Also, his dad is a senator?
Secretary of State.
He's trying to become a Secretary of State.
Oh, okay,
He's a senator at the moment.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
So
yeah,
he's going to become a Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, ah, man, he's hanging out with the Vice President of the United States, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Also, okay, yeah, actually, go ahead.
Hang out with the United States Vice President because he's going to become Secretary of State. And they're like, man, it's great that Edison is getting along with the Vice President's child. You know, he's been ever since his heart palpitations or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's supposed to have heart surgery or something.
Cardiac problems, anxious about his surgery next week.
Mm-hmm.
They walk in on Edison doing heart surgery on the child.
Which is, again, it's not how that works. And then it's like, heart surgery is really complicated. Like, heart surgery is like done by an entire team over dozens of hours. And like overseen by like medical bodies who have to license them. It's like, now you can just do it with like, there's a bicycle in the corner and a telescope. And it's just like, none of that stuff is disinfected. Like, even if you do save his life, he is going to die of a post-operation infection.
So it's implied that Edison made their dinner.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, did you enjoy my broiled lobster or something?
Yeah.
Stop. Yeah, the Vice President and his wife react pretty calmly. You know, they're just sort of upset looking and hug each other. If my child was open on a not operating table. Yeah. So anyway, it goes perfectly fine. Now to the future.
Yeah, then we just skip 15 years. Those are the only two important events of his life.
I mean, they kind of are, right? Why does he... Okay. Why is the heart surgery scene even important now that I think of it?
Yeah.
So we show that he's a good surgeon, because that's the
skill
that when it comes up later, that's what we're going to question.
I mean, I guess it's basically like, I don't know, it shows from when he was young, he's been able to fight and extremely intelligent. But didn't really need that exposition, I guess.
Because it really could have started where the next page is just like he's just playing chess against a bunch of opponents all at once.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have understand that he's super smart. He's not just smart. He's playing chess while trying to figure out how to deal with an asteroid that's supposed to hit the Earth in 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's designing a rocket to, like, bump it off course.
Yeah, and he's playing against, like, 10 people at the same time.
In chess, yeah. That's got to be great to be like the scientists are like, are you talking about the chess problem or the asteroid problem we gave you? It's like you got to ask him which problem he's dealing with.
He's just like, hold on.
Yeah, so the asteroid's a mass extinction one, bigger than the one that hit the dinosaurs. And as soon as he like figures out the chess problems, he like leaves and then gets on his motorcycle to do a cool stunt because children keep challenging him to cooler and cooler stunts.
Yeah. Then
he does the cool stunt, which is, what is it? It's motorcycle ride over a canyon. You have to jump off
the Grand Canyon.
The Grand.
While
not
you're
just any canyon.
Not a regular old canyon.
Yeah.
Springfield Canyon. He gets set on fire at the same time and has to jump off his motorcycle into a tub of water or something.
Yeah.
And we get a cool flashback scene where his mom is like, these ABC blocks really teaching you always be curious, Edison. The fact that he has a tattoo of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're so ugly as a tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his assistant comes up as like he constantly gets problems from countries that nobody else can solve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all he deals with. And he only takes the one he's interested in, which is kind of cool. What if he's not interested in the like murder case? Then he's not gonna do it.
Too bad.
Yeah.
So then the problem of the story shows up, which is people. I don't.
Yes, people are
Cars are
being
appearing.
exploded by cars that are appearing in the same space as them. Because I mean, ultimately it turns out like somebody is trying to do interdimensional travel, and they've sent, apples and, small animals, and then people at some point.
Lab
But
rats, yeah.
the order seems all like kind of out of whack, because the one that appears that we see is one that's got lab animals in it. And then like at some point in the past, they did like live human trials, which is not how that's supposed to go.
Okay, to be fair, they did say there's a lot of stuff going on with time, right? So maybe they sent those later, which is kind of bad, right? Like we're going back in time by accident.
Yeah, that's no good. But also, like, I guess you don't get any results because they never like appear back in your dimension. So,
Yeah.
Well, you'll find out, right, if they survive.
We didn't see that it failed, so that's a pass.
Well,
I mean, wouldn't they call home?
Yeah. They have a ability to video call to another dimension.
I think for the humans that's only towards the end. I think for them though, assuming they did survive the thing, their technology would be intact and they would be able to call home. So,
Okay. Maybe.
Anyway, the best flashback ever happens where Edison is looking out at a cityscape and his dad is like, "Oh, Edison, I want you to do important things in your life, but all you do is love to solve mysteries." He's like, my favorite line, "When the world becomes less curious, Dad." What does that mean? Okay, so yeah, his dad's like, "I'm cutting you off of my money. Here's a dime, penny."
Yeah. It's a dollar coin.
Okay.
Because then you don't get like
that dollar's your entire inheritance. And he's like, "I'll turn it into $1 billion by the end of the year," says Edison Crane.
Because stock markets only care if you're smart, personally.
Hey, you don't know if he gambled it or what did he do? Scam some investors.
Could have. And then there's the female lead / femme fatale is introduced, and I don't even know her name, I'll be honest.
Rachel. That's it. That's all I know. CIA agent Rachel. Yeah, so she's like, "Oh, there's a huge conspiracy, and I can't tell anyone but you." And yeah. It's about the cars, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like a general basically told her about it being from another universe, and
the cars showing up in our universe is part of a big conspiracy, and that's why the richest people in power will not deal with it. So yeah, and General ends up getting shot while talking to Rachel.
Yeah, because she's
Rachel
almost
comes
like,
to Edison.
I don't believe it, and then bam.
Yeah, okay, so this is where we finally realized that Edison Crane is like Sherlock from BBC in comic form.
It's the Mind Palace, and it's like
not even the Mind Palace. It's where he talks to her. He's like, she's like, "Do you need to see my CIA identification?" They're on a private plane already, and he's like, "I know who you are. Your father left at this age."
I hate that, like, as a concept, because like it's not real. That kind of thing doesn't exist.
Bruises
B,
on your thumb are a sign that you have a large vinyl collection. Is she just pressing her vinyl constantly?
like B, even if it did exist, like that's not how it would work. And C, like it's like as soon as I saw it, I knew it's like, oh, she's not who she is, which makes me smarter than Crane, technically. Spoiler
like,
alert, I guess, for this book. Rachel's not
nobody's
who she
who they
says she
seem.
is.
Do you think if he had like, she was like, "Do you want to see my CIA like identification?" They're already on a private plane, by the way. They're already leaving together.
Oh, yeah, because they need to find a MacGuffin that's in the Kremlin Imperial Library somehow.
Yeah.
Which is like, I guess, like the Russian version of the National Treasure, like National Archives, where it's like all the secrets are.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, it's specifically the secret library that's behind a stone wall that was walled by Stalin.
The real library over here, but to the left is the secret library.
It's the double secret library.
Okay, no, but if she had like shown him her CIA documents of like identification, do you think he would have instantly recognized that they were forgeries?
I guess,
By
but
the level of like how much he seems to know everything.
it should be, but based on how he figures out that she's not who she says he is,
he would just lie.
Could be about as dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, she could have just gotten real documentation.
Why not?
Yeah.
If you, it's
okay. Okay. So yeah, we have that little side cut to the children. Do you remember? The children who are
because
chained up, and then they get taken out of the secret room by the Brotherhood of the Dragon. And they're like, okay, kids, move in packs of 5. And they're pulling out their guns because they're obviously just going to hunt for sport.
We're at the pitch meeting. How are we going to prove that our antagonists are evil? It's like, well, we could show them, destroying the environment or, whatever. Or like exploiting people for money. No. That's all too subtle. What we're going to do is have them just hunt children for no reason.
Orphans.
Oh, yes, hunt orphans for no reason.
Only little orphans, nobody's gonna miss them.
Yeah.
Also have, like, after we hunt them, have them taxidermy their heads and stuff them on the walls. So that anybody who walks in here knows that we're super evil.
Yeah, so hunting for sport, but special edition children.
Yeah.
Then, how do we prove that the evil kids are also evil? We use them to shoot the kids. And
he never shows up again.
Oh, yeah. And for the record, the way he's holding that gun is a really good way to lose an eye if you're going to shoot somebody. Not advocating for shooting anybody.
Yeah. Real Christmas story.
Oh, yeah.
How did he use it? He doesn't even have like a child-sized gun. He's just using a giant big gun. That's fine.
Yeah. And then, we're in Russia.
Okay, so Edison Crane wants to get into secret library in Moscow, Kremlin. And he uses his Chinese chi powers to knock out the general and give him memory loss.
Oh, which is after he's already spent $500 million bribing every single staff member who's in the Kremlin at the time.
Yeah.
And to give him a half hour of like no questions asked time.
Don't you think he could have bribed them and just had them like escort him in through a side entrance?
Yeah, or just like, hey, just make sure he's like too busy to see me.
Put on a really loud movie.
Yeah, but no, just like magic chi that will never show up again, by the way.
Yeah.
And then knock down a wall to get to the double secret library, to then find that the MacGuffin that you need is not there.
He looks at a shelf and he goes, the scroll's been stolen.
And then it's like, we're not going to try to figure out who has stolen the scroll. which I guess you can't because they would have had to stolen it before the wall was put up. So you're trying to find a thief from like 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then the answer is not like, try to find some other source of the information. It's, well, the only solution is to track it back in time, like to who stole it from who, from before it got to the Russian library, to find its original source. That's the only way.
Okay, that makes sense now. When I read it, I was like, this makes no sense. The scroll's been stolen now. Why would we try to find a scroll that's not there in the past?
And the only way you can come up with this is like, again, we go to the Mind Palace where he like pulls in all his other personalities because they're all dressed differently. I don't understand why they're all dressed differently.
Well, they're not distinct personalities, but they're distinct specialists, I guess.
He says he likes to compartmentalize, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably have different parts of himself focus on different tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm kind of busy with the asteroid right now, but we do have to find this scroll. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get to find out that the cars, which were actually ships, they should have made them look more like ships right away.
Yeah.
I don't know why they looked like cars. I was like, is this Transformers? Yeah, so those special ships that are coming through the interdimensional rift or whatever comes out. The Brotherhood of the Dragon is behind it.
Mm-hmm.
The only bad guy that's been introduced.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they also have bombs that erase matter. For like what does that mean? You erase matter.
Obviously antimatter.
And then this is my favorite because there's the bald chauffeur who is just there to like as a human ashtray. Because again, how do we prove that the people are evil?
It's a police officer.
They abuse the lower class.
So yeah, the police guy kneels down to have a cigarette or cigar put out on his head.
I didn't catch that was the police either. Is that?
If you look at his uniform, there's a little badge on it.
Okay.
I did have to look back because I had to convince myself is that the only reason that guy shows up? And yes, it is.
I mean, okay, so they're pretty much the head of the Brotherhood of the Dragon, old dude, and then his son Francis, who's like, yeah, if you mess up one more time, Dad, on this like plan we've been planning for 50 centuries, so their plan for 50 centuries was to drop a bomb and destroy the world?
No, I don't think so, anyway.
What else are they trying to accomplish?
Because I thought...
I mean, we'll get to it.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to bring because they want the resources of the Earth that is still good. So yeah, I don't know what the point of the bomb was.
Yeah, because it seems like if you wanted to bomb, the Brotherhood of the Dragon claims to be the richest family in the world. You can just bomb cities anyway.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for your space bombs. But yeah, so it comes out. Then the next part is entirely probably montage, I would say, of just like going to different places. Edison Crane and Rachel. They're in Tibet, Angkor Wat, Cambodia, and then the last part's Pakistan. That's the part where they find the case. What does the case have? A book? Or records of where the book is. And they stole it from an exiled princess. And her guards are after them on the train, and they explode the train. And so Edison's barely holding on, and Rachel has the case. And then, okay, they're like, they're gonna shoot Edison. They're like, if you let go of your friend, she drops, and we lose our special records. Or we could shoot you and also lose our special records.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean? Where they just like have them at gunpoint. They're probably gonna pull them up anyway.
Yeah.
But Edison uses his smart brain to deduce the mental health issues within the guard, and within, I don't know, 150 words, convince him to pull him up to safety.
Yeah, so like his reading people ability goes beyond like what is your personality now. It is your entire life history.
Mm-hmm.
Your father walked out when you were 5 years old. It's like, you're better than the path that started you when you ran away from home. I'll tell you what life could be like if you want. Come closer and I'll tell you everywhere you went wrong. Like, no, I'm not wrong. I'm going to push you off this cliff. But yeah, no, I love them just being like, Professor, we're so sorry. And they're pulling him up. Because we're fine.
The parts that gets me the most is like the conversation that happens like 1,000 miles away when they're in the Indian Ocean. It's just like, so they didn't talk at all about it before then. They just talked about it on the boat. Now that we're looking at it again, it's like the way that he describes, like, I just took a look at them and like I saw the broken dignity. I saw like it is like I'm gonna put them in jobs in a post-capitalist society I'm running. It's just like, what are you talking about? What are you like?
Can you imagine the richest person on earth being like, you know, got all my money through capitalism, but I'm gonna create a post-capitalist society.
This is the point where like I had to like stop and I looked up reviews because like I think I'm crazy. Like this can't, like this has to be like parody or like, and then I looked, it's like, no, it's like some people are just like into this. Although some people are not, and I get them a little bit more. Especially one that was like, man, why are there any problems in this world? If he's like so good and smart and amazing at everything, and he can do anything that we see, like, why are there any problems?
Just not enough of him.
Well, the only problems come from another Earth, obviously.
I'd say, oh, I thought you were about to say other people.
Right,
He's perfect. But then we bring other people into the equation.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah, so he goes into underwater temple, finds cool secret.
Yeah.
I was too busy excited by the sharks coming.
Yeah.
And pirates.
Oh, this is also where Edison Crane is a hypocrite because he calls the shark dumb on one page, and then 2 pages later it's like, don't tell anybody that I shot those beautiful sharks. He's like, shut up! You said they were dumb!
They're beautiful, dumb animals, okay? I don't think Edison is allowed to call anybody dumb. That should just be like, you don't know, Edison. Yeah, so he finds out cool secret. And then his decision to deal with sharks is drawing blood, which, like, I feel like that's a really basic fact of something that would really excite all the sharks.
Oh yeah, because like the sharks don't know any better. They see something, it might be food, so they try to bite it. And so his reaction is not going to avoid the shark or like
not going to bump the shark. Yeah,
like no, I have to stab and kill the shark.
Mm-hmm.
That's
in the gills.
Step. And then obviously attracts more sharks. And then he has to kill all of them too with his underwater assault rifle he just has.
Yeah.
Don't worry though, Rachel upstairs is dealing with pirates, and her decision is turn around, shoot them all, and that is the best solution, and it works out fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hairpin, turn around, shoot them all. Throw amphibious gun to Edison Crane so he can shoot the sharks in an awesome splash page.
Yeah. Also, how do actual guns work underwater?
Most
not
of them
very
not well.
Yeah, but this is an amphibious gun. So we added a word there.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just curious. Like, I was like, I just don't know how guns work. I'm sorry.
Most of them will either explode if you try to shoot them underwater, and the ones that don't explode, the bullets go like 3 feet, and then because water is like
more
it's
viscous.
Not air.
It's not air.
Yeah.
So it'll go like 3 feet, and then like you're safe.
Yeah, I mean, I do know how water works, but
Also, then they have all those scenes in like movies where you get like shot at while you're in the water, and you're like, "It's fine, I'm safe," and that's been debunked too.
Which is like, yeah, it's still not great. Like, don't take this as like the license to be like, oh, I'm fine to be shot at if I'm underwater. It's like that's still dangerous.
Pistols are not the new water guns.
No.
So they finally have found out about the Brotherhood of the Dragon, ancient cult going all the way back to the Babylonian kings.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to see the end result is the Temple of Bel in... Where is it?
It's in the city of Palmyra, which is being occupied by ISIS.
I was trying to figure out if it was an actual Middle Eastern
I think
country.
Palmyra's a real city.
Well, it's a city, but yeah, where? I don't know. Oh well.
Oh, the city they're in is in Damascus right now. But I'm not a geography like professor, so I don't know.
Okay, so $2 million will give them a grand tour on behalf of ISIS. That is pennies to Edison Crane.
Yeah. And of course, it is pennies, but the obvious solution is not I'll just withdraw that or I'll liquidate some stocks. It is I'll go to an ex-girlfriend's high-stakes poker game and win all the money from them.
If there's anything shady poker players love, it's losing all their money to a single man.
Of course.
He couldn't even can I borrow $2 million? I'll give you 60 million.
It's like, yeah, I'll just buy your high stakes poker operation if you'll give me $2 million.
I mean, as the one character says, the one we meet who's like, oh, I'm an old friend of Edison's. I mean, I don't know that old.
Oh, but I did like the part in the scene where it's this kid exists just so I can give the answers to the homework that we haven't seen before. And I can also say that, this person is stealing from the register that we also haven't seen before. It's just there for that.
Edison, stop looking at that child. We're talking about an ancient temple right now.
Sometimes characters just exist so that in case you haven't gotten it yet, Edison Crane is really smart.
Mm-hmm.
His only flaw is that he's addicted to risk, is what the one character says. Which never gets them in trouble, really?
Yeah. No.
I mean, every single poker player is ready to shoot him. Also, that part, so yeah, his ex-girlfriend shows up again, or she's in the scene. She was there, and then she's talking to him about you sent my father to prison forever. She's also like, why would you come here? Just give the money back. And he's busy planning his escape plan where he beats up everybody. The part where he's like, does the fire extinguisher in the corner work? And she's like, I may be a shady business person, but my fire safety is on point. Okay.
Which is, again, it's such a dumb thing to hinge your plan on, is that the fire safety of this crooked high stakes poker game.
Does it really hinge? He uses it for one panel. Yeah. One panel, the last panel when he uses it. I thought he was going to pick it up and use it on everybody. He just used it on one dude who had a broken bottle, which he could have kicked probably. It's not even that important.
Yeah, it's all about looking cool.
Yeah, he jumps out of a 3-story window into the car. He's fine.
Yeah.
He got the money. Yeah, Brotherhood of the Dragon. Oh. The old man who's in charge has to be killed by everybody because he failed them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because all right, there's a part where he's talking about all the things that the Brotherhood of the Dragon have done, which starts with the first person who led the Brotherhood of the Dragon invented religion,
Mm-hmm.
which is such an off the wall concept.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like it's like I don't know why that's the part that stuck out to me so much because so many characters do so many outlandish things. So it's like, yeah, sure, they invented religion, whatever. I just the concept to me, for whatever reason, stuck out way more than anything else.
Yeah, before then, people just didn't really even like think about like why things happened, like no logic,
Worship
no
gods.
faith,
Yeah.
no nothing. Just
Oh yeah, we invented like the inherent search to meaning that
yeah.
like all humans experience. It's fine.
Well, also the fact that they invented it so that they could make people sheep and docile,
Mm-hmm.
which that seems very geared towards one religion or certain
Oh yeah,
religions.
because they use a bunch of like also like satanic imagery, so it's like, oh man, I wonder what they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he gets stabbed to death at a cool dinner party. Well, his son does the finishing blow, and he's like, "Ha, I get to take over. We're gonna see success because of me, father." Kills him. Yeah. Syria, that's where
Yeah.
they're going.
Mm-hmm. And also, yeah, it's this is all very much like part like both like the killing of the orphans and this ritual. It's all very much you know, seen like positively from their perspectives, obviously, like they are they come from a society where like empathy and goodwill are
Oh yeah, they're the Brotherhood of the Dragon are bred to not have empathy,
right, yeah.
which is again like what a concept that they just kind of say, and
Mm-hmm.
then like what does that mean? Did they found a gene that is responsible for empathy, and then they bred it out of like which be I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a world where like I think that there's despite how much they say in this book about Edison Crane, I think that the one thing that they don't that you're supposed to kind of imply is that he is also like born smart a little bit because of his genealogy. Like his mom and his dad are both like smart, powerful people. And so like it's a mixture of like inspiration from his mom, but also like being from smart people. So I guess in this world, those things are very genetic.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of
Yeah.
people just say they did something, and then like you think like one step into like how that thing had to happen, and then it's like it all falls apart like immediately.
Yeah.
Like how do you breed empathy out of a person? That's not how that works.
Also, to be fair, like if you're empathetic, isn't that you can tell how another person is feeling? That doesn't mean you care about them. So I feel like they are empathetic. They can tell people are in pain because of
Well,
the violence they inflict, and they enjoy that.
yeah. No, because like empathy is to be able to feel as somebody else is feeling.
So
Like it doesn't matter to like their grand point of like why does it matter if they
Yeah.
have empathy or not? They should have empathy for the secret devil world that they're trying to bring over to this earth.
Right,
So they
yeah.
should have some empathy.
Yeah,
What does getting rid of empathy give you?
nothing. Yeah. It is ridiculous.
yeah, so okay. So meanwhile, Edison Crane, Rachel, and Edison's old friend heading to Syria to meet with ISIS with the $2 million. We get to find out that Edison is not photographic memory. He's like Google. He can tell you the reasons and everything behind stuff, which he seems to have memorized. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, I take in so much information at a moment. I can't even turn the pages quick enough. And then also in his mind palace, he gets to find out that according to all my calculations, the asteroid is actually going to hit in 2 years, and there's nothing we can build to change that. I don't know. Just blow it up. I don't know, Edison.
I saw Armageddon. Why can't you do that?
Also, they're being given like these really cool ships. When Edison studied the technology of it and revolutionized the world. Anyway.
That'll happen off screen.
He's too busy finding out that the Americans are going to bomb the temple that he wants to head to. ISIS isn't too bothered by it. They're still there.
Yeah, I guess it came up like at some point while Mark Millar was writing the script. He's like, "Hey, are we really gonna have our hero like be okay with financing ISIS? Are we gonna be okay with that?" And then it's like, "Oh, I didn't really like think about the implications of that." So
it's okay.
He will be okay with financing them, but the money won't actually reach them, so it'll be fine.
They're still gonna get bombed anyway. Isn't that what you want? Audience.
Oh, man.
So yeah, American bomb gets dropped. It's okay. Edison Crane is in a plane nearby. I don't know if I'd allow that if I was dropping a bomb.
So, yeah, he can intercept the laser-guided bomb so that it doesn't go off.
And defuse it midair.
That means he won't have the money when he goes to ISIS. So then this has to be like the most convoluted action scene I've encountered in a while, because it's Edison fighting ISIS while he's running through the temple to not photographic memory all of the information in the temple
on a time limit because they're gonna bomb it again.
And while Rachel and the pilot are flying also towards him so he can make his escape. And it's just like there's so many like dumb layers. It's like, why can't you just have him fight ISIS?
Right. Well, the fact that he's like having trouble he's having trouble talking to ISIS because there's talking Bedouin, and Rachel's like, I can't help you there. I don't know that. And Edison Crane gets to find out that they want to take him hostage because he's the richest man on Earth, which is a good point. He should be mobbed at all times by people bothering him. He's fine, though. He should not be able to sit in a market stand without being just engulfed by people. Anyway, he survives Temple. That's cool. He shoots 1 billion people, but they're ISIS. It's cool.
Yeah, he gets shot once, so you remember that he's not actually immortal.
Okay, I was wondering if that
well
be. I was wondering if that's where this happened, because I was like, man, he goes to a lot of places that are very similar with a lot of people attacking him. I was like, is this where he gets shot, or does he get to go one more place?
Right through the auxiliary artery.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the part where they're like, all critical meeting, I've been shot, and they're like, we're trying to deflect an asteroid. His brain. Yeah.
I don't like the idea that his brain could backtalk him. It's like, do you think it's gonna matter if you can figure out how to deflect the asteroid? If you die?
It's okay though. He jumps out a window of the temple, and the plane.
Well known for their windows.
The plane comes at a 45-degree angle, and he just catches onto it. He doesn't fall into it. Nothing. He catches onto it. Real chill.
Yeah, I do kind of want to know what the geography of this temple is, where he can jump out of what seems to be the front side of the temple into the plane, and then the plane has enough room to not immediately crash into the temple or the ground.
It's true. The weight of a single person grabbing onto the plane at a 45-degree angle, so the plane's already tipped to the side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it is one of those things where don't think about it. Applying physics to action movie stuff is dumb and does ruin it, but this comic does not deserve it.
Yeah, so
then
he
they just
goes to hospital, right? They take him to hospital.
Yep. Oh, I didn't realize they land their plane immediately outside the hospital.
Landing strip for emergencies.
And then Edison Crane, even though like he was just before like passing out due to blood loss, like he wakes up and tries to perform surgery on himself.
It's like, you're too young. You're looking at the surgeon. Like, that always helps right before you're going to heart surgery, right? You look at your doctor and you're like, you're too young. Yeah, you can't do this.
I mean, I guess that'd be weird considering, like, you know, like if, like, obviously, like Edison's like what, in his like 30s or whatever.
Yeah,
But,
young but not old.
yeah, but it'd be weird for like me. I feel like I'd be like, who are you, like Doogie Howser? Like,
That's the thing, right? That's the thing again, where it should be like, hey, you're the richest man and smartest man to have ever existed. Oh God, my hands are shaking now. No
Yeah.
pressure. Yeah, Edison being like, I'll do this surgery, just give me a bunch of mirrors. And then he passes out anyway, so they have to do surgery on him. And it comes out other people are smart too.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm actually 25, by the way. And Edison Crane somehow goes, you're going to be 25 next week. I know, because you're taking one vacation day off. Whatever, Edison. Leave the man alone. Just saved your life.
Yeah.
And then he buys the hospital.
So that he can write on the walls.
Yeah.
He writes all of the important information from the temple.
Which somehow Rachel is like, thanks. Got all the relevant information now.
Oh yeah,
Like
it
looks like a man scribbled on the wall, Rachel.
Yeah. And then we get like a little bit of like flashback. It's like the
First person to
plan
come
is,
through, right? Was
who did survive, but then how is it that their plan doesn't immediately succeed after that? Is it just like they went too far back?
Yeah, because they needed the technology.
yeah, they didn't have enough resources to like get the rest of them through, so they started building the Tower of Babylon, which is actually an interdimensional portal. Doesn't get finished, obviously, so Brotherhood of the Dragon gets started to continue it for 50 centuries.
So yeah, the two ways for the Interdimensional Bridge are the Tower of Babel and then the Large Hadron Collider?
Yeah.
Yes.
It seems like a big step between
Pretty much the same thing, right?
the
Like
two
Tower of
levels
Babel,
of
put it
technology.
sideways.
Or it's like one is just a big building, and then the other is like a huge scientific advancement, which is like, this is probably like the biggest thing that like Mark Millar does wrong, is like feeding into all the weird conspiracy theory against the Large Hadron Collider.
Yes, it's why do you guys think there's 3 6s on our iconography?
And like it's pitched so that it's supposed to be very smart, when if you know anything about the Large Hadron Collider, all that stuff is very dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, also
Speaking
comes
of
out
very dumb,
Edison met Francis, the new head of the Brotherhood of the Dragon, who, killed his father to become the new head. Francis is Tinker, guy from the beginning that Edison beat up.
oh yeah, and Rachel's like a double agent.
Okay, so yeah, I forgot. Rachel tranquilized Edison.
Which, why tranquilize him? Just shoot him. I guess like you don't get to like
They
flex
need
on Edison.
him. I mean,
But, like,
he can use his brain for stuff, right? Still.
Yeah, just put him in like a computer or something. I don't know.
A little brain in a jar.
Okay, to be fair, the most they do is tranquilize him and then put him in handcuffs, which right away should have just been like.
Yeah, that was actually.
There's people who do Las Vegas shows get out of handcuffs.
Yeah, I've gotten out of handcuffs.
For entertainment.
Yeah, for entertainment. Yeah,
God,
should have
yeah.
at
So it
least
comes out
got.
everybody's name is just an anagram for cool things.
Which is why make it an anagram? Why put that in there at all? Like I've never
Edison should have been
understood.
solving that all along, right?
Like every like conspiracy or like theory where it's like, oh, you can understand the real meaning if you go
Read
through
it
the
backwards.
anagram. And it's like, okay, if this is supposed to be like a huge conspiracy that like controls the world, why would they put a hint that they're a huge conspiracy like running the world in their name backwards or like in
Super
an
fun.
anagram? Why wouldn't it be something completely unrelated?
Also, okay, this is one part. The fact that Francis and the Brotherhood of the Dragon are like their entire basis is they love violence and inflicting it on other people. I'm gonna say it's really surprising that Francis didn't just kill Edison Crane when he was an 11-year-old who beat him at a polo game.
Yeah.
It's a thought. Like they're shooting kids
But then
elsewhere.
you can't get Edison Crane to go to the completely available at literally any time ancient Babylonian temple
And
to get all
transcribe
the
it for you.
plans.
But see, he wouldn't be interested if it wasn't a challenge.
But I guess like then that also begs the question: it's like, so they know he landed in ancient Babylon. Why wouldn't they then go to ancient Babylon to get the plans to fix the interdimensional travel at any of the 50 centuries that they've had?
We're not geniuses here, okay? We leave that to Edison. Yeah, so ships are gonna come through, very exciting. And Edison's like, I'm just gonna stand here. And half the people in the I think actually no, nearly all the people in the room with Edison. So it's Rachel, Francis, and then like a few guards. Everybody but Francis and Edison turns into ships because interdimensional travel that Edison facilitated, but he modified the plans because he understood them perfectly already.
Yeah, and he also already knew that Rachel was like a double agent from the very beginning.
Because despite all the planning to fool him, they didn't look up what the requirements to be a CIA agent in the location that she said she would be, which includes a language she doesn't speak.
Yeah, she doesn't speak Bedouin, remember?
Which seems like a large oversight.
Yeah. Creating a whole 3-dimensional personality, as she says.
Which does
she remembered
fool
that she
him
was. She remembers that she's left-handed, she's lactose intolerant. She says 10,000 different like facets to her personality or something to like give it a fully fleshed feeling.
But not a language. A language would be too much.
Yeah.
All she could have just
CIA
been
agent from a different place.
Or she could literally been like, man, my Bedouin is rusty. But no, it's not even something she knew she needed to have.
Yeah.
We know that 60% of CIA agents are left-handed. We've looked
We know that?
No, just freaking Rachel coming up with facts. Where did she come up with them?
Well, you know, being left-handed is like the third fact you learn about somebody.
Mm.
So it'd come up. Probably also behind lactose intolerance.
Okay, and then, yeah, Edison gets his little handcuffs off. And he's like, now I can take on 100 men who have guns when they do the usual thing of men with guns, which is rush forward and not shoot from a farther position. It's a very good scene.
Because even though he doesn't beat 100 of them, then he takes them hostage. And then, oh yeah, the asteroid that would run into our Earth, we sent through the dimensional portal back to Satan Earth, so it's fine. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, first he makes them drop the bomb in the hydrogen collider. God, I'm losing words now.
It's after he takes Tinker hostage
Mm-hmm.
when he's fighting the 100 people. Which I guess they could, like, their plane craft can survive, even though that's not how bombs or planes work.
Because they have a force field.
I get, but not enough of a force field to protect them from cooking the instant they go through the international transport until just now that they were able to go through.
Yeah.
Those portals were really bad. These ones are better. Our ships are really strong, but not against bad portals. I don't know.
And then just shoot, Tinker, because...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought the asteroid happened after they dropped the bomb in the collider. But no, like you said before.
It's just like... The climax of this is... It does feel like they just like ran out of an issue. Or like realized they were on the last one.
Well, they were like, we need a twist, and then we have to solve it.
How do we solve all the problems that we have?
Gotta tie everything up. Yeah, that is like, I mean, when done well, it's really nice when everything like all comes together and connects. But if not done well, it can seem really cheap and just too convenient.
He won the chess game, just barely. And now he's going to do a cool car flip over some helicopters or something.
Yeah, so return to status quo that we weren't even aware was a status quo until we started this book.
Yeah.
That's always good. That's how you love to end a story.
God forbid Edison not be able to do it.
Or like learn anything. It's like, oh yeah, my pursuit of knowledge almost led to the end of the world. I was fooled by somebody who was using my knowledge to try to solve their plans. Like, take no personal lesson or growth from this.
Yeah.
But he wasn't fooled. Until the end, I guess. The moment she said, actually, I don't know Bedouin, he's like, traitor.
That must mean she's lying about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I can't believe that story ends then. But don't worry, they're coming back. There's going to be another volume now.
Yes, which is like, this came up in part of the research I did. Is like the next big bad is a guy who is at least as smart as him, who is a surgeon, who replaced his hands with monkey hands because they are more tactile than Homo sapiens hands. That is not made up. Not a bit.
I thought you meant he like got Edison Crane like tranquilized his like, you know what I'll do to you?
The doctor chose to have his human hands replaced with, I believe, chimpanzee hands.
Oh man. Man, I'm really sold. Okay. No. Okay, we gotta talk about what we liked about it.
Yeah. I'll start because I'll say that one, it was very quick to read. Like, I mean, I feel like it took more time to go through the summary almost. Like, I mean, that's not true. I didn't read it that fast, but like it was very, streamlined. Like, we're jumping from event to event to event. And I'll say, even though, you showed us some panels from this book before we started reading it, I got the idea, this guy is never wrong, and it's not the kind of story where he is going to be wrong. Yet I bought into the suspense, at least, I think it went fast enough that I didn't have the time to be like, oh, well, it's all going to turn out okay. Because it didn't really matter that it was going to turn out okay. It was just like, oh, this is really difficult, I guess,
Yes, I will agree. It's like when I allowed myself to be bound by this world's logic, I did somewhat enjoy it. Where it's like, if I didn't question anything and I didn't pay too close of attention, it was enjoyable.
I mean, yeah, as someone who enjoys bad media very often, this delivered the right amount of entertainment where I was throwing my head back and squealing when he jumped out of the plane. He's like, the way to deal with a falling bomb is to jump after it. Yes!
Of course. A human can dive the same speed as a falling laser-guided bomb, of course.
And defuse it at the same time.
And have enough time to defuse it, yes, of
Okay,
course.
to be fair, it's laser-guided, so it wasn't going down, it's going, like, horizontally, too. They showed.
Okay, I don't have the motivation to do the math, but I don't think it adds up.
I wasn't, like, justifying how this is possible. To be fair, yes, it is not possible. That being said, a lot of the, like... Yeah, actually, one of the few things I do think was actually kind of gripping, at least the most out of all of them, was the asteroid. Like, I really do, like, enjoy where he's like, yeah, it's all solved. I'll create a cool rocket, I'll pay for it all, and it'll deflect the asteroid in time, you know, within a few years, before the asteroid 17 years from now gets here. And then later on being like, yeah, I've been shot, let's deal with this, and being like, that asteroid is coming in 2 years. We can't do anything. Like, that moment of being like, we can't do anything is really cool. I mean, of course, doesn't really do anything with it, but
yeah, like there is the promise of a problem that he can't solve. Finally,
well, the admittance too.
Yeah,
the fact that in his brain he's like, I can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
Wait, was that a part of? Was it just like a coincidence that the asteroid also showed up at the same time, and then like NASA missed whatever like factor made it like that it was going to show up 15 years earlier than they planned?
It was calculations were wrong or something, he said, so he was doing a bunch of calculations.
Okay, so complete coincidence then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was checking their work.
It wasn't like some like part of the plan for the Brotherhood of the Dragon. Like, it's just happens to be. Okay.
Yeah, which, man, you think about it too. Like, obviously, you wouldn't want the House of the Dragon to, you know, complete their plan, but also either way,
they only get like 15 years out of this Earth before it's
right. Yeah,
actually, they'd only get 2 years ultimately because NASA was wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, no matter what, they get hit with the asteroid.
So this plan that was running for 50 centuries, they finally get it done, and they enjoy 2 years out of their new Earth.
I mean, they're convinced. Edison Crane is the smartest man ever. They'll just have him figured out, right? That's probably why the Brotherhood was keeping him around. I don't know.
Yeah, why didn't they just like roll Edison Crane into the Brotherhood of the Dragon?
As a child?
Yeah.
They didn't know he was going to be so cool and smart.
No, he's too smart.
He would have like seen through them, even if he was inducted from a young age.
Yeah, because as long as he knew to stay curious, then he would stay empathetic or something. Because
his mom giving him those blocks really changed his life.
Yeah, I'm glad they had that like one conversation one afternoon when he was like 5 years old.
And he gets the tattoo, which we never see again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we see the tattoo once that Rachel can kind of look longingly at and then never bring up because she's not actually romantically interested.
You know,
just for like our benefit, I guess.
I guess I appreciate that they don't ever have any romance because, like, he had the one part where she's like doing the Google thing or whatever, where she's asking a bunch of questions and being like super cool, surprised at like how he can just recount everything, even though he's the smartest man ever. Yeah, okay, of course. And he's got his arm pretty close around her, and I was like, oh, they about to do something weird.
That's actually, you know what, you reminded me of something I did like when we're doing the reveal of how badly like we pretended to be your friend. Is like Rachel just says like, do you know how annoying it is to have to listen to you all the time?
I mean, of course she'd say that. She's evil. She's evil. Good people enjoy Edison.
the Brotherhood of the Dragon may be wrong about a lot, but they are right about how annoying Edison Crane is.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's probably the reason why nobody crowds around him, even though he's the richest man.
Yeah.
It's like he's just annoying.
So annoying. Elon Musk. But that would require Elon to be smart, right?
Right.
Yeah. And do anything fun with his money.
Yeah.
He should jump out of an airplane and defuse a bomb for a cool trick.
As a trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I already said it. It kind of in general, it was very easy to see how things unfolded, even if I didn't fully understand why. Like that whole plot point that I did not understand when I first read it. The fact that they're going back to the source of the scroll. They're not trying to find where the scroll was before it was in that library. Because obviously it's not there anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's, again, it is like a resummation of you guys' point, but this story has the mercy to be brief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very easy to follow, even if you don't understand what's going on. It'll just take you to the next part.
Yeah, because like it has its in-universe explanations, but like the reasoning boils down to is like, I want there to be
cool chase scene.
A cool chase scene, or like I want them to fight on a train, or like I want there to be a scene where he flies over the Grand Canyon on fire from a motorcycle and then lands in a pool. Like that's the only explanation is that the author wanted a cool thing to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
See, they say that Edison is like really generous because he constantly does things for free.
How much did that stunt cost?
But I get the feeling that it's like only if it's, like I said, only if it entertains or interests him. Like, he's rich already. So if he didn't care about something, maybe he just wouldn't give money to it. I don't know. I'm just not convinced that he's a very nice person.
I mean, it is a situation like with Superman. It's like if you decide to like really think about it, it's like Superman's a huge villain because he hasn't solved every problem in the world. It is also the same for this. Is like Edison Crane is a villain because he doesn't solve every problem. If there's any
he will
problem
only
that
solve the
exists,
problem that interests him.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. It's like that makes him the villain because he has the power to solve the problem, whether through money or influence or just like
being smart,
talking to somebody, and then like one stern conversation, or like not stern, earnest conversation with Crane is enough to like completely change his life.
Why didn't he talk to that general and reduce him to tears?
Yeah, he could have just talked to the general for a while.
I mean, yeah, but why didn't he use his chi powers on ISIS?
You're right.
I think, if people behind you have guns pointed at you and you walk up and like touch their leader in the face.
You have to be able to also kamehameha, like
so from a distance,
right?
Oh, this book is trash. And like I thought I was insane, and it turns out like I looked through reviews because like I thought it was crazy, but nope, like pretty like solid reviews. Like the lowest I saw some bad reviews, but like even like on average, like it only lowered it to like a 3 stars. And like, man, wild. Some people just like enjoy the combination of like I saw some people like say it's like, oh, it's if Indiana Jones met Sherlock Holmes meets like, it's like, no, it's not, because all those characters have flaws. This character has no flaws.
Yeah, he's not even.
I'm sorry. I've moved on to the stuff that I don't like without meaning to. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
It's hard because it is. We can all agree that it is bad. This book is bad, but that's also the reason why I like it. So they're kind of mixing together. I feel like that's why it's also like there's a lot of plot flaws. Like, yeah, whatever. It's a bad book. Like, of course there is. Like, we've talked about a lot of them, right? Just the general being like, it's an anagram. That's like the simplest puzzle ever. What do you mean you didn't solve it, Edison?
Well, okay, but to be fair, it's an anagram that references the imaginary best friend from Donnie Darko,
Yeah.
which I can't
And then
imagine.
also from Grapes of Wrath, right?
Yeah.
That's Rachel's
Name.
anagram name
Yeah.
is from Grapes of Wrath. Is like two completely unrelated, like
I think all
forms of
smart
English
people
media, but it's just like
can solve anagrams in like 5 seconds. That's what a smart person does.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it is a leap
I
of
feel like
logic.
it's a really simple level puzzle.
Okay, yes. If we're at the point where we're allowing is like, yes, Edison Crane can run through a temple shooting ISIS, perfectly recall every single detail he saw.
That's
Then
in
I
like
guess,
another
yes,
language.
Then we should allow is like, yes, he should see any name and then like immediately see every anagram and every pop culture connection from that. Like that should be fine.
I mean, you said Edison doesn't have any flaws. I think it would actually kind of ruin the book more if he tried to have flaws, because I know they do it badly, first of all.
Yeah, okay, yes.
So Edison being like, I'm scared of water. I'd be like, Edison, shut up.
Like,
Just
yeah,
give me the water.
Like, Indiana Jones is like, he's always like caught up with women, and like Sherlock Holmes, he's got a drug problem when he's not solving mysteries. Like, okay, those are, not super deep, but at least Sherlock Holmes is like a huge literary figure. I can't imagine whatever version of that got into this book would be very good.
Closest we get is he can't stop taking risks, right?
Yeah, that's his flaw.
But it never does anything to him.
Mm-hmm.
He gets shot, but like that just allows him to go into a coma where he solves all the problems.
Yeah.
True. Also, the fact that he never sleeps for like months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh my god!
not
And
how
the
that
fact
works.
that
No amount of being smart will overcome the biological need of the body for sleep.
some of the things he like throws out in like casual dialogue, where he's like, "Yeah, I create a polymer that keeps food fresh for a century." That was one of the first things he does.
Yeah.
The world should look a lot different,
It
right?
should. Yeah.
It really should.
This book definitely made me feel like I was going insane sometimes. Or it's like, this is happening, right? Or am I imagining things?
It's like I thought this had to be parody, I'll be honest. Because like I tried to look up like what Mark Millar has said about this book, and it doesn't seem like he's said a lot. But it seems like it is a genuine piece of media, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, I never thought of it as parody personally. I just, took it at face value and knew what it was and what it was trying to accomplish and what it wasn't trying to accomplish.
Also, the fact that Edison is like, I have destroyed the last of the bloodline of this group. What about the kid at the hunting party?
Yeah,
That's
like,
Francis's kid, right? He literally says it's Daddy's turn now.
Yeah.
it is very much like the end of Return of the Jedi, where it's like, okay, we blew up the Death Star, so the Empire's all gone. It's like, you did kill a lot of people, but like, they also had a bunch of people that they employed that aren't just gonna like go away.
Yeah.
It seems like this book forgets things it set up too. So like the kid, like they don't even have like a scene of like kid being evil. Meanwhile, they're just like, forgot, don't care. He'll be fine without his father.
Mm-hmm.
He'll turn into a good kid.
Yeah.
I'd say that one, the montage issue, where like we're in Angkor Wat, Cambodia, we're here, India, Pakistan, Tibet, the different places they go. That was like, I understood what they were doing, where it's like, this part's in the future. This is the scenes leading up to it that we're also playing at the same time as the currently present scene.
Mm-hmm.
I understood it, but it wasn't pleasant to read. I would say one of the few parts where I was like, why are they doing this?
It did take a minute for me to understand when I was reading that, like what the series of events was, because it starts out on the train, but then it goes back to like, I guess where they started until we get back onto the train. And then like, that's the last time it appears Is that the end? It's like, I guess I can kind of understand. Like, I'm glad it didn't go for the whole issue. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like that, like the storytelling device there like never shows up again. So I guess like as a one-off, sure. But I didn't like it very much. I would have rather it come up again later, and then it's like, oh, okay, it's like it's a theme or like it's a motif. It's like, no, it's just a cool thing that I wanted to do.
That's like the majority of the book, right? It feels like it's trying out a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So much of it, yeah, it feels like obligatory this scene. Getting cornered by pirates, fighting sharks, everything. Anything that could happen there.
Yeah.
Also just a lot of the part where I think the previous issue ends on him being like, we're gonna go climb the Himalayas, get a coat. And then they just don't even show that. It's like, whatever. We got to have a montage because we got to go to a lot of cool places.
And we just don't have time in one volume, Can't stress the story out. It has to be,
Edison Crane, post-capitalist hero, right? Because he fights against American bombs and ISIS.
Yeah. He's not going to be part of the war machine.
Yeah, not unless if you are willing to turn off your brain and enjoy some bad media, there's not a lot to like in this book. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Bad media is so good.
If you want to laugh at some trash, this is up there, though. At least for comics.
Yeah. I would say I get the feeling, this kind of goes into the art territory, so I won't say too much, but I get the feeling that sometimes Mark Millar did not write scenes properly, and the artist visually solved it. Edison Crane has his hands behind his back. There's no guns in sight. ISIS has him with his hands behind his back. And then next frame, he has 2 pistols out, ready, shooting ISIS. It's there's a lot of other parts where, him just pointing to the shelf and being like, the scroll's been stolen. There's no plaque saying this is special scroll shelf. Things are just, he knows it. Yeah. And then Rachel's reading book that is nearby, and she's like, this is where the scroll used to be. They had to start talking about where the scroll used to be, right? They only have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
There's some more solid examples that I can't recall at the moment. But yeah, I just feel like, in general, I feel like somebody was visually solving some of those script problems.
I mean, there's a reason. There may be a reason that there exists some script problems. And if we'd like to get into our dislikes, I may have the answer.
I mean, we were talking about it already, right?
Yeah, I thought we were there. I mean, we didn't officially segue, but I was like, we haven't talked about likes in a hot minute.
All right, but for dislikes, here is the number one reason I dislike this book. And I didn't learn about it until today, actually. This is a completely barefaced pilot for a Netflix show.
Oh, yeah.
Or movie now.
Not a show, yes, a movie.
And to the point where Netflix announced the adaptation before the first issue was released.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, this is just Mark Millar just put out some trash to keep earning that Netflix money. It's wow, this is completely bankrupt.
I mean, this book is it's published by Image, but it's I'm pretty sure partially financed by Netflix.
Oh yeah,
it has a little Netflix sticker, on the back.
It was made it's part of the Millar World purchase that Netflix made 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
It's I didn't realize that until I was scrolling through the Wikipedia page, and it was like, oh wow, they already announced an adaptation. I was like, wait, no, hold on, this was made to be adapted. It's oh wow, yeah, this is trash. Mark Millar, don't want to disparage him too much, but is this all Mark Millar does now? Is just they card him out to throw his name on a project so they can adapt it later?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one creator that found out how to make money from his work in adaptation. Like
Is
everybody
Mark
else
Millar
gets
opposite Alan Moore?
Yeah. I mean, what it actually reminds me of. I mean, you're closer with the comparison to Alan Moore, but it was just thinking about the Simpsons, their comics. They did a thing because Mark Millar is Scottish, and so is Grant Morrison, and they have a thing where they go to Scotland with Willie, and they're fighting because they're both the writer of the X-Men at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the real writer of the X-Men. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, though, Mark Millar, he just
Yeah, so like I don't know if it's because of that, but like there's no subtlety in anything in this book.
no.
Is it worse that it's a movie now instead of a TV show, or is it better that it's going to be shorter, technically?
Well, I think it was going to be a TV show originally
Yeah,
because
originally.
like I can see reading the comic like what the show was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
if you
now,
look it
like-
up, they say it was going to be a TV show and then changed to a movie. So it changed the
So
format.
a movie will be shorter and it might be worse, but I don't think it will be as bad overall.
Yeah.
Something dragging it out
Probably
in a
won't
Yeah.
TV show.
spawn a sequel.
Well, I mean, they're already writing the sequel book, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like
Like-
Netflix can't hold on to a property, you know?
want to see the actor with an ABC tattoo.
There
Oh yeah, they
is it
probably
because it's a Netflix thing? Is that why there is no subtlety? That there is no nuance? That everyone is a like feels like a parody of themselves? Or is that just like how Mark Millar wanted to write this?
maybe a little bit of both.
mean-
I mean,
This feels like Riverdale, right?
yeah. I mean,
So-
let's talk a little bit about his, notable works that we're somewhat familiar with. He wrote Ultimate X-Men, The Ultimates, Superman Red Son, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Civil War, Wolverine, Old Man Logan, Kick-Ass, and Kingsman. And I feel like from the ones that I've read, it's like, I mean, even Old Man Logan, which I think is probably like, earlier off mic, Jake, you were saying that you liked that one. That one even is pretty silly and has a lot of like, people being like almost parodies of themselves.
Yeah, Red Sun has that too. I forgot that he had done that.
Yeah.
But Red Sun is also very much like about people being parodies of themselves. So maybe that's just how Mark Millar writes.
Yeah.
Because like Jupiter Ascending, or no, that's something else.
Yeah.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Yes.
Jupiter's Legacy
Mm-hmm.
is also like parodies of other characters, kind of.
Right.
So yeah, maybe that's just like what Mark Millar does. Oh man.
Yeah.
$35 million Millar World deal with Netflix.
Yeah.
This story was not worth 35 million.
Not just this story, but like any of the stories within his Millar world, which I
Mhm.
hate that word. But that's an actual word that links to a Wikipedia page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a connected universe, right? It like has Kingsman and Kick-Ass and stuff like that, right? Like,
Yeah, Jupiter's Legacy is also probably a part of that. And
yeah.
oh, there was another one that was like Wanted, probably not, if I had to guess. That was a little before connected universes were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
He did Super Crooks?
Yes, Super Crooks is specifically connected to Jupiter's Legacy. So if Jupiter's Legacy is connected to everything else, then
Man,
yeah.
and Civil War. Oh my god. Discovering the Millar world.
Yeah. Anyway, though, yeah. I mean, I like my likes were pretty short and my dislikes are pretty short, and I feel like they've just been
Because
covered.
it all blends together.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, like the biggest problem is the lack of character arc or reason to care about any of the characters in this. It's just guy that does cool stuff. Which is also why
it's so entertaining, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
If this was like a one-off that wasn't made to be adapted, like this would be an awful story. Like nobody learns anything. There is no lesson in this book. Like, because we've read some like one-offs that aren't meant to be like, I don't know why it's popping in my head, but like God's Country, like, or Underwater Welders, like those have like morals and lessons, and maybe they'll be adapted someday or maybe not. But like, there is something to be gained by reading them. And this, I don't think there's anything to be gained except for like the enjoyment. And maybe there's something to that.
Yeah.
But it's not for me. Like this is just trash for trash's sake.
I think it's David Lynch who says you just need 70 scenes and then you have a movie or something. Not 70 probably. And that's what this book kind of feels like a bunch of scenes you needed.
Well, if I have 140 pages, I have a graphic novel.
I mean, it's just scenes, right? Like cool things happening in certain scenes. Does it matter if they happen?
Actually. Yeah, I mean, it is like a story boiled down to its bare essentials. It's like, I have scenes. What is the least amount of connective tissue I can have between these scenes? I don't think you can get much less than this. Where a character just says, this is the next scene. And then they go there, and that's the next scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, David Lynch literally said you just need 70 scenes, and then you just put them in a certain order, and you have a movie.
I think that he underestimates his ability to make characters that feel like real people, though.
There needs to be some level of cohesion, which this book, I guess, has. But yeah, it really is just basic. We need twist villain, woman, put her over here, femme fatale, CIA agent, blonde, tight-fitting outfit, cool gun.
Is it a very cool gun go? I don't think it is.
It wasn't that cool. Yeah, it does cool things, like shoot. I think in general my favorite part of this series was just how bad the dialogue was. I think, yeah, just it really sold it for me when he was like, I'm gonna take this dollar and make it into $1 billion. You'll see, Dad.
Yeah, in 1 year.
Paraphrase, yes. But if we want to go into the art.
Yeah, I think I'm ready for that.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty good art.
I thought the art was pretty good. I just didn't like enjoy some of like you were talking about it earlier with like the artist having to like cover up the lack of story with some of the art. It's just like at the very end when they're talking to Ice is like the plane is flying and it's just like the background is just like a big like looks like a wipe transition, but there are like explosions going around. It's like, is the plane that near the ground? Are they being shot at? Like what's like I can't tell what is supposed to be happening in the scene.
Yeah. It ran out of time.
It's like, I don't know if that's intentional. It's just like, oh, action is happening. So, stuff is, going to be in motion. It's like, it does get across a sense of motion, but it is seemingly at a lack of clarity or context at what is happening in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it really doesn't matter where they are, though, right? They're
That's
just going to do a thing. Yeah. That is like to just the story in general again, where people turn into cars.
I did like the design of that effect where like stuff is appearing to people. It's like it looks like there's like a spot of light and like stuff is coming off of it in them before the car or ship or whatever pops out. I just wish they had used it a little more because I do like it, but it comes up like twice, I think.
Yeah. I will say, I think the designs for the interdimensional guys really dumb.
Oh yeah, you don't like the purple and white?
Yeah.
The little dragon guys. Yeah, they're wearing a cool little dragon hat, helmet, cape. So dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, their designs could have been better, but yeah. I'll just say that yeah, I didn't have any problems. And I think that yeah, probably the art is what kind of saves it in a lot of ways. It probably also what helps make it read so fast too. Yeah. So no problems with it, and I think that Raphael Albuquerque is yeah, pretty good. I haven't seen anything from him, but
I'm pretty sure he did American Vampire, which we have read.
oh,
It wasn't just him though. There's the other artist on American Vampire who I think of more often.
Now that you say that, I do recognize his name, and I don't remember who else was on American Vampire though. But yeah,
maybe it just was him.
Huh. Yeah, because you're probably thinking of two writers. It was Scott Snyder and Stephen King were working together.
And there is another artist I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But I'm mixing him up.
Mm-hmm.
They both have a very strong ink style like this.
Yeah.
Use a lot of lines.
I think I liked this art-wise better than American Vampire, though. That's just going off the cuff, though, not like really reviewing like page by page, next to each
It's
other.
hard to remember.
Yeah.
I think the pacing on this is drawn better. I keep wanting to... I just keep wanting to say, I don't think it's thanks to the script.
Yeah.
I really don't have a lot of, hope for that script.
Yeah.
Even though I've never seen it. So assumptions.
That's fair. But yeah.
Would you read the sequel?
No.
We may have to at some point. I think one of us will end up choosing it. Because it's from the preview and the review of issue 1 that I saw, there's a doctor who has implanted microscopic explosives in all of his patients, and then they explode, and they bring in Crane to figure out why all these people are randomly exploding. And then the doctor, who has since replaced his hands with simian hands, is starts to toy with Crane by sending him messages that have all of his responses already figured out. It's
the whole conversation.
Is he as smart as Crane is? It's it's probably about as quality as this is. So I mean, if you enjoyed this, you will probably also enjoy the sequel.
Yeah.
Well, it just started coming out in June 2020, or 2022. Forgot the extra 2. So it'll be a little bit before those 6 issues become a book, right?
Yeah.
Got a while.
I mean, basically 6 months. It'll probably be next June that it comes out as
After Monkey Paws. It's hard to get better than that, right? You're super smart. And you're I just need Monkey Paws, man.
Yeah. I mean,
best character ever.
I always thought that Monkey Feet were kind of the,
I mean, they're pretty similar to the hands, right?
Right,
the whole thing. So.
But just
don't take off your shoes.
Can never go on an airplane again. Too embarrassing. I
still let you wear socks. Nobody would see it immediately.
Well, you'd
have to say your hands are gonna set them off first, right?
All right.
Yeah, okay. So I guess Jake has said that it is fate. We do not get a decision in this. It's fate. We're going to eventually read it.
No, the real question is whether or not we review the movie when it comes out.
Oh, man.
I can't imagine I'm going to watch it.
I don't think a live action version of this will be as charmingly bad with dialogue as this, because it's going to be such high, like, production value, or at least Netflix standards, so at least decent.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd only be slightly interested if it was animated.
Oh, yeah, if they did animation and kind of, like, mimic the style, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. But...
that would be insane.
Yeah, though. Is there anything else? No. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. This has been the Comic Panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to this channel, as it helps us out on the YouTube algorithms and getting us seen by more and more people. You can also reach out to us with any thoughts you have on the things we talk about on Twitter at TheComicPanel1 and on Instagram and Facebook at The Comic Panel. Also, if you want to leave a comment, please do. Let us continue the conversation.